This is DD India and you're watching Express News, a program where we bring you top 100 news of the day. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Let's begin. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited the North Indian state of Uttarakhand and performed puja at the winter seat of the Ganga River in Mukhwa village in the state. Prime Minister Modi, through his binoculars, was seen appreciating the views of the snow-covered Uttarakhand mountains. The Indian Prime Minister received a warm welcome as local Uttarakhandi men and women dressed in traditional Garhwali attire danced to the folk songs circling around the Prime Minister. The Indian Prime Minister walked through an exhibition put up on tourism and iconic tourist locations in the state of Uttarakhand. Prime Minister Modi also flagged off a trek and a bike rally in Harsil. The rally aims at promoting adventure tourism in the region. Amid a thunderous applause, the Indian Prime Minister was felicitated as he arrived on stage in Harsil. Addressing a public rally, Prime Minister Modi emphasized on the need of diversity in the tourism sector. He said no season should be off-season in Uttarakhand. The Union Cabinet, headed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has approved the construction of ropeways at Kedarnath and Hemkund Sahib in Uttarakhand that will significantly cut travel time to the two popular pilgrimage sites. The Ropeway project will be a boon to the pilgrims visiting Kedarnath as it would reduce travel time in one direction from about 8 to 9 hours to about 36 minutes. India's Ministry of External Affairs has condemned the provocative activities of a small group of separatists and extremists during the visit of India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar to the UK. Dr. S. Jaishankar on Wednesday said that India is waiting for the return of the stolen part of Kashmir, which is under illegal Pakistani occupation. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi was honoured with the Honorary Order of Freedom of Barbados Award from the President of Barbados. Minister of State for External Affairs and Textiles, Pabitra Margarita, received it on the Prime Minister's behalf during his visit to the 4 Latin American nations. India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman launched the new credit assessment model based on the scoring of digital footprints of MSMEs during the post-budget interaction program in Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh. The Finance Minister also interacted with industry and tax professionals during the program. India's Minister of Road Transport and Highways, Nitin Gadkari, attended the Global Road Infra Tech Summit and Expo held in New Delhi on Thursday. The theme of the summit was Vision Zero, Sustainable Infra Tech and Policy for Safer Roads. Addressing the gathering at the summit, the minister spoke about fuel efficiency and the use of technology in road safety in India. The CEO of Prasar Bharati, Gaurav Dwivedi, and Ambassador of India, Dr. TV Nagendra Prasad, met with Vice Minister of Culture and Information of Kazakhstan, Kanat Ishkakov, on Thursday in Astana. Both sides discussed bilateral cooperation, including Wave Summit 2025. Indian Navy sailing vessel Tarini has embarked on its journey from Stanley to Cape Town, continuing the Navika Sagar Parikrama's second expedition. This voyage is a significant part of an initiative highlighting the growing prowess of Indian women in maritime exploration. In India's Union Territory of Ladakh, following heavy snowfall in Kargil district, Border Roads Organisation has commenced snow clearance operations on the Zojila axis along the National Highway 1. The Delhi Metro Rail Corporation achieved a milestone as it completed an underground tunnel at Vasant Station as part of the 4th phase of the Golden Line project. In business news now, Indian equity indices ended on a strong note on Thursday. At close, the Sensex was up 610 points to stand at 74,340 and the Nifty was up 207 points to stand at 22,545. Indian rupee ended 15 paise lower at 87 rupees 11 paise against the US dollar on Thursday. Gold futures maturing on April 4th were priced at 85,462 rupees per 10 grams on the multi-commodity exchange. Silver futures for May 5th maturity stood at 97,443 per kilo on the MCX. India's Minister for Electronics and Information Technology, Ashwini Vaishnav, launched the AI Kosh and AI Computer Portal in New Delhi on Thursday. The India AI mission will cover about 40% of the computing costs for eligible users. Global crude oil prices rose on Thursday after heavy sell-offs drove the market to a multi-year low. However, tariff uncertainties and a rising supply outlook capped gains. European shares extended their gains on Thursday on hopes of easing trade tensions after US President Donald Trump exempted automakers from his 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico for 1 month. Goldman Sachs raised its economic growth forecast for Germany this year, citing the prospect of increased military and infrastructure spending, and also upgraded the growth estimate for the broader euro area. The European Central Bank is set to cut interest rates again on Thursday in what is likely to be its last easy decision. The Japanese owner of 7-Eleven, named lead outside director Steven Dockers as new CEO, has plans to restructure its business in the face of a $47 billion foreign takeover bid. In a statement on his Truth Social platform, US President Donald Trump has issued a stern ultimatum to Hamas leaders, warning of further destruction in Gaza if all remaining hostages are not released immediately. Hamas has accused US President Donald Trump of using repeated threats against Palestinians to support Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to disregard the fragile ceasefire. The US has also confirmed direct talks with Hamas, with the US envoy on hostage affairs discussing American hostages with them. European nations have unequivocally stated that Hamas must be stripped of its governing role in the UN Gaza Strip after a UN Security Council meeting where Arab countries' plan to rebuild Gaza was discussed. Israel's government initiated proceedings to dismiss Attorney General Gali Baharav Miara, who was the vocal critic of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The United States has cut off intelligence sharing with Ukraine, a move that could cripple Kiev's ability to target Russian forces. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt announced on Wednesday that the US may resume funding for Ukraine as talks over a minerals deal continue. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Wednesday announced positive movement in talks with Washington, hinting at a potential high-level meeting soon. The Dutch government will reserve $3.8 billion to continue its support for Ukraine in 2026. Netherlands Prime Minister Schoof said that the funds would ensure Dutch support to the region. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is in Brussels for an extraordinary EU summit where he met with EU leaders, including European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, and thanked European nations for their continued support. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has expressed his support for continued US involvement in European nuclear deterrence during the EU summit. The Kremlin condemned what it called a highly confrontational speech by French President Emmanuel Macron, in which he called Russia a threat to Europe. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has said that Moscow would regard European peacekeepers deployed to Ukraine as the official involvement of NATO forces in the war against Russia. The United States on Wednesday granted a 1-month exemption on its new tariffs on imports from Mexico and Canada for the US automakers. The pause comes after Trump spoke with leaders of the big three automakers, Ford, General Motors and Stellantis, on Wednesday. US President Donald Trump accused Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of playing up a Canada-US trade war to cling to power after they spoke on phone on Wednesday. US Vice President J.D. Vance said that the US intends to increase resources at the southern border, including artificial intelligence-related technologies, as he concluded a tour of a portion of the US-Mexico border. Japan and Britain are arranging to hold high-level economic security talks on Friday until US tariffs reared their head. South Korea and the United States will begin their annual Freedom Shield military exercise from Monday amid rising threats from North Korea. The United Nations has warned that it will force rations to be halved for around 1 million Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh from next month. The Vatican on Thursday said that Pope Francis, who has been in hospital for almost 3 weeks battling double pneumonia, is in stable condition and is doing some physical therapy. We're heading for a short break here on DD India. We'll be back with Express News in just a bit. Stay tuned.
This is a special episode focused on the extraordinary achievements of India's G20 presidency and its continuing legacy.
India is the only country which has been able to achieve success on close to 112 outcomes in 88 different paragraphs. This extent of consensus on a very, very ambitious and inclusive agenda has never before been achieved. There was positivity, there was optimism, there was confidence, and there was a perspective that India would provide good leadership which would be fair, just, and ambitious and inclusive. And that is what India did.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back to Express News on DD India. Let's resume. Fierce wintry conditions hit Kansas region of the United States, setting off a tough blizzard condition. Kansas authorities have urged residents to take precautions and avoid traveling. The weather authorities have issued a blizzard warning for various areas in east central and northeast Kansas. Similar traveling restrictions have been issued by Iowa authorities as a severe snowstorm has brought the U.S. state to a standstill, with vehicles stranded on roads and highways across the state. 3 skiers who had flown by helicopter to a remote mountain range near Girdwood, Alaska, were swept away by an avalanche and likely killed under the weight of dozens of feet of snow. Heavy rains lashed at New South Wales northern region along with gusty winds as Cyclone Alfred stalled off Australia's east coast. Fires ravaged northern Mexico state of Nuevo Leon as the region has registered over 239 fires as of Tuesday. The blazes, largely confined to vacant areas, have damaged electricity towers and severely impacted air quality in northern Mexico. No fatalities have been reported, but the situation remains dire. The Syrian Civil Defense said on Wednesday that its firefighters had extinguished 20 forest fires in Latakia and Tortis provinces in northern Syria. Rain appears to have halted the spread of Japan's worst wildfire in more than half a century, officials said on Thursday, as residents expressed relief that the smoke was gone. Intense rain has caused severe flooding in Brazil's Manaus, with streets and houses underwater. Two beavers from Scotland were reintroduced into the English wild for the first time in centuries on Wednesday. The reintroduction of the beavers is viewed as crucial for revitalizing rivers and wetlands, addressing environmental challenges and meeting national biodiversity objectives. The National Gallery in London invited visitors to step into the world of early 14th century art with its exhibition Siena, The Rise of Painting 1300 to 1350. The show presents a fascinating collection of masterpieces from Siena, offering a glimpse into a pivotal moment in art history. Floating high above the London skyline in one of the most famous creations, the London Eye is celebrating its 25th anniversary this year. It has become an integral part of London's skyline and a beloved symbol of the city. Designed by architect Julia Barfield, the London Eye was opened to the public in the year 2000. Stella McCartney's Winter 2025 runway featured feminine lineup of power suits with low-waisted trousers, broad-shouldered jackets and glittery evening wear. The Beija Flor Samba School was crowned champion of the iconic Rio de Janeiro Carnival, marking their 15th title. The annual Rio Carnival is internationally known for block parties and the big-budget spectacle of parades featuring thousands of dancers in overboard costumes. 60-year-old wooden skiing tradition revived in Turkey's southeastern town of Semdinli with mini festivals celebrating cultural heritage. The festival showcased the region's unique wooden skiing tradition, which has been practiced for generations in this mountainous area. Eagle Festival 2025 is set to begin in Kazakhstan, and the festival continues to spread 6,000-year-old tradition and culture of the Kazakh people who have domesticated and trained birds of prey and hunted them. As the Indian Festival of Colours Holi is round the corner, the demand for colours has also gone up. Many self-help groups in North India's Uttar Pradesh are engaged making herbal colours. Preparations are underway in southern India's Kanchipuram to celebrate the festival of Masi Magham. The festival of Masi Magham is celebrated in the Tamil month of Masi when the Makam Nakshatra or the Magha star aligns. Actor Vin Diesel, the voice behind Marvel's Groot, has hinted at a potential spin-off movie featuring the extraterrestrial sentient being. Filmmaker Celine Song is set for another project, Materialists, starring Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans and Pedro Pascal. The film is set to be released on June 13th. Fodder, the hit action thriller series following Israeli undercover operatives, is returning for season 5, with filming set to start in late April. Rolling Stones guitarist Keith Richards received the Connecticut Governor's Award for Excellence for his cultural contributions to the state. Singer Tyler released the music video for her song Push to Start remix featuring Jamaican dancehall artist Sean Paul. Actor Millie Bobby Brown released a video criticizing journalists for writing about her appearance, saying, "This isn't journalism but bullying." CBS and the Television Academy announced the date for the live telecast of the 77th Emmy Awards 2025. The prestigious award ceremony will air live on Sunday, September the 14th. Pink City Jaipur in the western Indian state of Rajasthan is all set to dazzle as the host city for the Silver Jubilee celebration of the International Indian Film Academy IFA Awards 2025 on March 8th and 9th. Priyanka Chopra and Kangana Ranaut's Fashion is set to return to the theatres in a grand re-release on March the 7th. The makers of Khaki, the Bengal chapter, have unveiled the highly anticipated trailer of the crime drama created by Neeraj Pandey. And on to sports news now. New Zealand have sealed a spot in the final of the Champions Trophy, cruising past South Africa by 50 runs in the second semi-final in Lahore on Wednesday. New Zealand will face India in the final of the Champions Trophy in Dubai on Sunday. South African batter David Miller has said that it wasn't an ideal situation to travel back and forth between Pakistan and the UAE for the Champions Trophy fixtures. Sunrisers Hyderabad all-rounder Brydon Cars has been ruled out of IPL 2025 with a toe injury. SRH have signed Vian Mulder as a like-for-like replacement. Bangladesh's veteran wicketkeeper Mushfiqur Rahim announced his retirement from ODI cricket after his team's disappointing run in the Champions Trophy. Afghanistan's all-rounder Azmatullah Omarzai dethroned Mohammad Nabi to be ranked the top all-rounder in ODIs following a stellar Champions Trophy 2025 campaign. In soccer, Liverpool edged past hosts Paris Saint-Germain 1-0 in the first leg of their heavyweight Champions League last 16 match on Wednesday. 10-man Barcelona secured a 1-0 victory against host Benfica in the Champions League round of 16 clash on Wednesday. Harry Kane guided Bayern Munich to a 3-0 victory over Bayer Leverkusen in the all-German Champions League round of 16 first-leg match. Lautaro Martinez scored a landmark goal as Inter Milan took a commanding lead against Feyenoord in the first leg of their Champions League last 16 tie. Soccer's governing body FIFA announced the prize money for this year's 32-team Club World Cup to be held in the US between June 14 to July 13th. This prize money is $1 billion. Former world number 1 Naomi Osaka lost 6-4, 6-4 to Camila Osorio in the first round of the Indian Wells tournament on Wednesday. Ace Indian shuttler HS Pranoy started his campaign with a win in the round of 32 in Orleans Masters tournament in France. Australian tennis great Fred Stoll, who won 2 Grand Slam singles titles in the 1960s, passed away at the age of 86. And Indian chess player Arvind Chidambaram surpassed 5-time world champion Vishwanathan Anand to become the new world number 14 on the live rating list on Wednesday. So that's it in this edition of Express News. Thank you for tuning in. Namaskar.